going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Appreciate you tuning in. So to be quite honest with you, I actually haven't recorded in a few days. All the videos you guys have been seeing in the last week or so were pre-recorded. I stacked a bunch of videos over a couple of days and I just scheduled them out. I needed to give myself a break. Number one, to plan out this hypnotherapist training course and accelerator that I'm building out. It's taking up a lot of time, but definitely will be well worth it. And number two, I'm sugar detoxing. I'm giving you a bit of a life update, but I'm sugar detoxing right now and detoxing on a lot of other things, but so it's really hard because you're dealing with really bad migraines every day. I'm on day 2 of that. I'm only going with natural sugar, so I'm consuming like one of these a day, but I definitely feel a lot better though. I'm able to focus a lot more. I have a lot more natural energy, which is great. Yeah, just really doubling down on my routine. What I find that works for me is, and whenever we want to get to the next level of our progression, of our journey, of our success, is it's not necessarily about doing more, but about doing less, right? Peeling layers out. It's always shedding, right? When we grow into a new version of ourselves, what we're really doing is shedding. We're shedding old habits, old ways, old belief systems. And that shedding can happen metaphorically. It can happen in a lot of different ways. It can happen physically, emotionally, shedding old environments, shedding old friend groups, shedding old habits, a lot of these different things, right? And so I've been shedding a lot of weight. I've been shedding a lot of wasted time, so on and so forth. And I can tell my body, my brain are thanking me for it. I've been diving deeper into my spirituality. And with that being said, so I keep in very close contact with my clients, my hypnotherapy clients. And I have a client who reached out to me. We have an ongoing discussion, and she reached out to me, and you know, this can happen sometimes. So this is post our hypnotherapy session, right? We had only done one session. She reached out to me. This is about a month later. She's saying that she has been struggling with being at a low vibrational state and that she's taken a pause on things to work on that, right? And she's human, I'm human, I get it. I catch myself in what we call low vibrational states all the time. So things like anger, moments where we find that anger and anxiety and confusion and frustration and guilt and all those low-hanging emotions are consuming us and are defining our days. There's a reason why I call them low-hanging emotions, sounding similar to low-hanging fruit, because they are easy to grab. They are easy to resort to. So my response to her was, and this is what I want to base this video around, was, my dear client, I would like to invite you to be open to the following ideas. Number one, the idea that what we're really trying to do, when we say we've been struggling with being at a low vibrational state, what we're really trying to do is trying to find excuses to remain in a low vibrational state. The idea that we are so conditioned to giving permission to people, places, and things to keep us in that state because it's the easy thing to do. That there is no struggling because we're really the ones willingly giving permission. And just as easily as you can give permission to be in a low vibrational state, you can give permission to be beyond the temporary moment. Number two, the idea that words we use, the idea that the words we use are declarations. They are not observations or reports, they are declarations. I always encourage folks to declare the state that they want to be in, and watch how quickly you begin to settle into it. It's at that point that you'll realize that if you hesitate to declare something, if you find yourself hesitating to declare that I am powerful or I'm strong or whatever it is, it was really just the ego protecting itself. Declare the following. Everything is fine. I am beyond this temporary moment. I am proud of myself. I've come a long way. Thank you for the lessons in this moment that you're trying to get me to understand. Thank you for the things I can't yet see. Thank you. This is how we shift from being a slave to our environment to the master of our own energy. This in itself is the ultimate decision we are privileged to make at every given moment. Keep me posted, always here to help. Yeah, so the power of the tongue, right? And what you'll find is that successful people, when you see them in videos and on social media, in whatever domain they're in, they speak with a lot of conviction. They're very certain on what they say, and they're very specific as to how they say it. And sometimes they speak fast, sometimes they speak slowly, but the common denominator is they're usually very calculated. And I say usually because there's always the outlier. There's always the extreme person, right? But usually they're very calculated, right? It's because they understand how much influence what they say has over the cycle of beliefs, then thoughts, then words, then actions. And you can interrupt that whole cycle on that third one, which is words, right? If the beliefs we hold at the deepest level, the identity level, influence the thoughts we have, so the frequency that we're in and the thoughts, which influence the words we speak, and also in parallel the actions we take, we can interrupt that whole thing the easiest way. We can do it multiple ways, i.e. hypnosis, but the easiest way is to be very mindful and cautious and conscious of the words that we choose. And I want you to sit with the idea that every word you speak, every series of words, every phrase, every sentence that you utter is a declaration. And at some point in time, we lost our understanding that we co-create our lives. And so a lot of people are just floating in the tide. They're floating in the current. They're being washed away in whatever direction the sea goes. And sometimes that's a good thing, but it depends on how you see it. And a lot of people see things as happening to them instead of happening for them, right? And the fastest way to that, let me say this. Evidence of spiritual maturity is when your environment, your external environment can seem utterly chaotic, but internally you are smiling. Smiling in a way where you're saying, bring it on. Smiling in a way where you're laughing because you know you've been through this before, you've been through worse. And when chaos knocks at your front door, you don't fear answering that door because you are chaos. Just like when peace knocks at your door, you don't fear answering the door because you are peace. And what I'm trying to say with this is you are the condition that you see in the world. What we see in the world is what we see in ourselves. What we see in other people and the things we do and do not like are the things that we see in ourselves. It's all a mirror. Why is it a mirror? It's because it's all our own imagination. These are all figments. All of these things, this, me on the camera, these are all figments of your imagination. Because when you go lights out, this whole thing goes lights out. It ceases to exist. And so I bring all that back to the power of the tongue. Be very diligent about the words you choose, the words you say. And I see this in the comments all the time. I'll still get a comment on this video saying, Pablo, I disagree with what you're saying. And it's fine to disagree, but then the disagreement will be something to the effect of, I disagree with what you're saying. No matter what I do, no matter what words I say, I'm always still stuck. There, boom, that is your declaration. Your declaration is that no matter what you do, you are still stuck. So I can't help you beyond that point because you are now making a conscious choice to say that is how your life goes. I put a lot of these videos out for my old self who's watching this in a parallel reality, but also I just want you to remember that you, in parallel with your higher conjunction, right? In cooperation with your higher self, with God, with the universe, you are co-authoring this life. And you can't you cannot control all the hows of how things will play out, but you can control the theme of your life. And if peace is if you want peace or love or joy or abundance or gratitude to be the theme of your life, then it will. But if you want struggle and guilt and shame and frustration and difficulty and resistance to be the themes of your life, then they very much will be. And you know, I'm a high performance coach as much as I am a hypnotist. And the stuff that I'm saying is high performance, not just for your business, but for your life, for your internal state, for your well-being, for your level of peace. Right? I want you to talk to yourself like you're so proud of yourself. Coach yourself to the win. Be in your own corner. You have to be the first person in your own corner before everybody else will decide to join. Be the sole person clapping for yourself in the audience. Champion yourself. That's what I want you to do for the rest of your life. Champion yourself. When I had nothing, when my bank account said negative 3,000, like I told you guys in the last video, or last two videos ago, I don't remember. When my bank account said negative 3,000, my credit card said, I had maxed my credit card out. It was like $7,300, $7,000 around there. I was in debt to my parents. I was living in my mom's basement. You know, I was underweight. I was overstressed. I was frustrated. I was unemployed. I had no business, nothing. In those moments, I was championing myself. Because I decided, now of course I struggled. Of course I'm human, right? I fall into being human, of course. I'm not always this, come on here because I have to maintain a level of professionalism, but I have my moments too. I'm being very honest. But it comes to a point where I have to decide, and so do you. I had to decide, okay, things really suck right now. They really, really do suck right now. Now, which way does this go from here? I decide, which way does this go from here? Does it continue down the lane of struggle and resistance and, guilt and frustration and self-loath? Or does it go down to the direction of, all right, this is now my come-up story. It is no longer my failure story. It is now my come-up story. And I'm gonna write down the 3 things I need to do next and do those things. Which probably means those 3 things are probably doing less of the things that keep me in that state. And I decided I want to go down that route. Decide, guys. It's too easy. It's like low-hanging apples or mangoes. It's too easy to sit with these emotions. We're conditioned to reinforce this feeling. That's why hypnosis is so powerful, because it snaps you out of that. It says, what are you doing? Right? And my client is a real case of that, because now she's very, very sensitive to when she's out of alignment. Right? But sometimes we all need a coach, which is why I keep in touch with all of my clients, right? We still fall back to being human at the end of the day, but she's someone who had a great run, and she will continue to have a great run. We all have our moments and slip-ups. But the one takeaway here is, please do not underestimate the power of your words. That's one of the God-given powers you have. Amongst every other species in this universe is you have the power of speech. You can Number one, you have ideas in your head. So ideas find you, right? You are conscious. You can imagine things that are not right now. You can imagine things for your life. That's a God-given power. And number two, you can speak. You can take what's in your head and you can speak it. And you can speak things and put them into your head. That is a divine power. That's a divine power. That's not a power of the animal kingdom. That's a divine power. Beyond the 3D physical world. Is we are aware that we are alive. We are aware that we can imagine things, right? And we can talk about those visualizations and those imaginations. We can speak the best versions of ourselves into existence. Please don't underestimate that. It's way more powerful than you could ever imagine. Everything I have in my life, I've spoken into existence. I've written it down. I should do a video one day of just going through my old journals and showing you the exact dates where I wrote, I make $20,000 this month, or I make $30,000 this month, or I make $10,000. I wrote all these things down, right? You're powerful beyond measure. Hit the thumbs up button, guys. Hit that like button. That's my only ask of you. So we can boost this video in the algorithm. If you watched until this far, I appreciate you. Hit the like button and let me know your thoughts in the comments. You're powerful beyond measure. I'm out. Peace.